These days, everyone is talking about Naomi Osaka. At 23, she is one of the best tennis players in the world. Literally. She is a 4-time Grand Slam champion and the first Asian to be ranked number 1 in the world by the Women's Tennis Association. This May, Naomi made the bold decision to skip a mandatory press conference at the French Open to accept a $15,000 fine, and then to withdraw from that tournament and then from Wimbledon, all for the sake of protecting her mental health. At the time, Naomi Osaka explained that she has struggled with bouts of depression throughout her life. That sometimes in those press conferences, a reporter will ask a question that sends her into a depressive spiral, from which it's difficult to emerge, from which she has difficulty functioning, which harms her game and obviously her well-being. So she made the choice to skip. In response, the tennis conglomerate explained how she is wrong. They fined her, told her they know better than she what will serve her career, and threatened further sanctions if she continued to skip press conferences, all while claiming they have the best interests of their athletes at heart, that they are deeply committed to supporting mental health. In other words, none of the organizers or leaders of these tennis tournaments have experienced crippling mental health challenges. And because of that, they assumed Naomi was just like them. They thought about what it would be like for them to go to a press conference. They thought objectively about what happens at a press conference. It's just sitting in a room, just talking, just questions. It's part of your contract. They never considered that her reality might be different than theirs. They just punished her according to the terms of her contract. It's tempting to demonize the tennis establishment, to look at them and say, can you believe how inflexible they're being? Can you believe what they're doing to her? And yet, all too often, we fall prey to the same patterns and paradigms. We too experience the world through the lens of our own experience. We too believe that our emotions, our reactions and interactions are predictive and instructive. We too believe that other people are just like us. We see a young person who's just graduated. We remember so vividly what it was like to be a newly graduated person. Like we were on the springboard of life heading forward into our trajectory, and so we ask with excitement, what are you doing next year? What's coming next for you? Forgetting that they might not know, that they might be feeling anxious, that our question might normalize the idea that everyone else on this earth has a clear sense of what they're doing except the young person in front of us. We cause pain inadvertently. Our goal is to love, to care, to support. We're following the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But there's a problem. The golden rule assumes that everyone is like us. That what I want and what I need, tells me everything I need to know about what you want and what you need, that my inner landscape, my emotions, my experiences, my proclivities give me everything I need to know to support you. It's just not true. The golden rule may be the golden rule, but it's not always the golden standard. This is something I feel quite personally. Almost 2 years ago, Solomon and I had the great blessing of getting married right here with you. And I think about that day so often. It was so filled with joy. Just before the shutdown, this whole room was full of love and light. And I remember standing here on this bima, looking into Solomon's eyes, thinking, oh my God, what an incredible blessing. And 1 year from now, we'll be back here. 1 year from now, we'll be back here. We'll bring our child here, and we'll introduce our little one to this community, and it will be so full of love and light, and we'll get to do this again. At the time, I thought building a family would be like planning a wedding. We could be totally in control. But that's not how it's been. Not at all. Over the past months, we've learned so much. We've learned that we're not in control, even when we think we are. We've learned that if and when we get to build a family, that's going to be up to God. We've become experts in things we never even considered. We've learned to navigate the ups and downs of trying. Every month, a burst of hope, and then grief and frustration and loss, and then hope again. And in the midst of all this, we have learned how acutely love and care can hurt. When I go to Kiddush, or when we go to a friend's house for dinner or to see loved ones, they want to know how we're doing, how we've been. They'll see Solomon playing with a little kid, and he is amazing playing with little kids. So cute. And they'll look at me and they'll say, "You guys should have kids." They'll see me and they'll say, "No, when are you going to have a family? When are you going to build a family? Time's now." See me talking to someone who's pregnant. You better be careful. It's catching. Or I'll be at a dinner and, the host goes around the table asking who would like wine, and I'm not feeling it particularly that night, so I say no thank you. And the table goes silent. "Are you pregnant? Are you coming here to tell us you're pregnant?" I'm not. I know that all of these comments, all of these questions come out of love, come out of care and deep regard for us. Everyone has our best interest at heart. And I know that for some couples, they're thinking back to their early years, married together, where their biggest obstacle to building a family was their own readiness, and where some pushing from the outside may have been helpful to getting that process started. I know for others, they're just excited for us. But it still hurts. I've been thinking a lot lately about why it is that our tradition asks us to recite the Shema twice a day. There are lots of prayers our ancestors could have chosen, lots of passages from the Torah. Why the Shema? Why has that become our credo, our watchword? Lately, I think the Shema has become so central because it has a very core teaching for us. The Shema says, listen. Listen, Israel. We may all be here in service to the same God. We may all be here working on the same project. But we're not all the same. Only God is one. We are many. Listen. The Shema reminds us twice a day that we cannot just look inside for the answers. We have to pause. We have to reflect. We have to listen. We have to consider. Am I asking a question or making a comment out of my own curiosity, or is in this question, this comment, in the best interest of the person before me? Are there other explanations? Is there something I'm missing? Listen. Last week we went to a friend's house for dinner. My friend pulled me aside before dinner, gave me a hug. This was the first time we'd seen each other since before the pandemic. She looked me in the eye and she said, I realize we've never talked about this before. And I don't know what these last few years have been like for you. I don't know what your experiences are. But I want you to know that we're pregnant. I didn't want you to hear from someone else. And I want you to know it wasn't easy for us. And if you ever want to talk, I'm here. When I was little, my mom used to sing a Yogananda chant. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. I think that may actually be the golden rule.